Dr. Umar Johnson, okay, was in a movie. I'm not making I'm not making this up, y'all. He was in a movie, all right. It's like an hour or so long. He's playing the main star. He's playing a guy named Jermaine Johnson. They call him Umar maybe like once in the movie. All right. He's basically playing himself like in another universe. Like he really is. It's like the Marvel universe. And it's like a multiverse. It's like he's playing another version of himself. Okay, but he's basically doing a lot of this similar stuff. And the movie really doesn't make him. The movie really doesn't make him look good. Okay, I'm actually surprised that he would agree to do this. Let me show you real quick how I look on YouTube so you can find the movie. I'm also going to probably put it in the comments, okay? So if you search for this right here or just click the link I'm going to put up, Awaken feature film starring Dr. Umar Johnson. That's how it's titled right now, okay? Yeah, definitely, definitely something. I literally just saw this early in the morning, y'all. I knew I should probably do a review now because I'm so busy this week. I highly doubt I'm going to have time to talk about it, okay? For a while if I don't. I'm actually trying to get off this Umar Johnson stuff. This is a woman's page, Mary Ann Laurent, okay? Hopefully I'm saying that right. And yeah, Dr. Umar is playing, okay, a version of himself. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to review this movie. Hopefully you click that link already and seen the movie. If you have no desire, if you don't desire at all to see the movie, okay, if you absolutely will not watch it, all right, then just watch my review. But if you want, you can watch that woman's film, okay, about Dr. Umar. I can't say it's pro Umar or against Umar. I mean, he chose to be in this film, okay? But the film makes him look so bad, in my opinion. It's just astonishing. It really, really is. All right. I'm gonna say this, and if you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It reminds me of this guy Steven Seagal, the actor Steven Seagal. How like he's in a lot of movies, just like movies that are like straight to DVD, and they make him look bad. In my opinion, they really make him look bad. A lot of times the movie starts off. He's in a strip club. He's just like always in a strip club, and the women are just falling over him. His name is Kevin in the movie. His name is Kevin. They're like, "Oh, Kevin, you're so sexy." And then the guys are usually like, "Do you know Kevin? Oh my goodness, he's like such a dangerous man." This movie is a lot like that. It's really a lot like that because it's like Umar is playing like a character of himself in a way, a caricature of himself. But then again, as you think about it, you're like, then again, it's almost like this is how Umar thinks that he is in the real world. Or it's almost like watching the movie. It's like watching, Umar's lies come to life essentially. Okay, like him saying that this is what I do. Like for example, I'm gonna explain to you what I mean, right? Throughout the movie, there are like mothers that are saying, "Dr. Umar, okay, I need your help. My son is going to do this. My son's going to do that. All right." And you see Dr. Umar going to the people's houses, all right, and which I think, to me, that was like the first thing in the movie that really seemed me like almost hilarious. Like it's a woman that says, I think it's this woman or somebody else that says, "Hey, my son is going to do something." And the woman is like, "Can you come to my house?" And Dr. Umar is like, "Absolutely." Like, he's like, "Absolutely, I come to your house." And she's like, "Can you come tomorrow?" Or whatever she says. He's like, "Yeah, I'll be there." And it's like, I'm like, okay, so he just sitting around in the house all day twiddling his fingers, waiting for somebody to tell him, can he come over? And then on top of that, made it seem like he wanted to get with the mom the way he was responding. And in the movie, it seems where he literally is like hooking up with like women, like just out of nowhere. And if I'm not mistaken, in the film, I'm not gonna say I'm not mistaken. He actually does have a girlfriend. I was trying to remember because I just saw it. He has a woman, okay, who he's dating, all right, who he's supposed to be basically like engaged with, all right, at some point in the film, all right. So he basically just cheating on her throughout the whole film, all right, and that's never resolved. It's just like, oh well, he's doing it. But it's almost like the movie. Number one, Umar did not write this. You look at the credits, you see that he did not write this movie. Okay, I believe the woman whose page I just showed you, she wrote the movie. Okay, so Umar did not write the film, but he had that. I would say you would think that he would have looked at the script. Okay, but I don't believe that he actually read the script. It's just hard for me. It's hard to understand. But then again, if you read the script, I can see Umar reading the script and thinking to himself that it was good, that made him look good because essentially it has him doing things that he lies about all the time, which is, for example, going and talking to young black boys, which he does like 2 or 3 times in the movie. He's talking to young black boys, trying to give them instruction, this and that. I'm like, this thing that gets around. This is what I'm about to say, y'all, because this is like very important. I'm about to say here, okay? And I'm coming from a director's point of view, okay? I'm not just any, Joe Schmo guy telling you this. Me personally, your boy Brother Winston, okay, I'm actually, if you watch my channel, you would know this, okay? I'm a videographer. That's my main job, and a film director, okay? I've been doing this stuff since the early, probably 2000, as a job, since 2011, 2012. I've been doing this as a job, okay, since then. And I'm also a graphic designer, okay? I make people's posters. I film many events in the Philadelphia tri-state area for many years, okay? I still do to this very day. All right. I probably film, I'll film people's weddings, people's divorces, okay, people's funerals, all kinds of people want to film me surprised, okay? I've helped with their movies in this area. I've filmed tons of plays, all kinds of stuff, okay? I've even done cartoons because I'm also an animator. So I've done cartoons and all kinds of stuff. And I can tell you right now, when you shoot a movie, if you're not using like professional actors, which this movie does, it has people that are not professional actors. One of the things that you want to do is you want to cast people, if at all possible, that are playing a character that is similar to their own personality. That way, their acting is not to be a huge stretch, because that person is acting, similar to what they're talking with the syntax that they usually would use. They're not making, you're not having a guy from the hood trying to play a Wall Street banker, Wall Street, whoever, okay, you know what I mean, or trying to be Ben Bernanke, where we're not trying to have, some dude from around the way playing somebody who's over the Fed. Okay, you just want to make it. He could do that if he was a great actor, but if he's not a great actor, that's a stretch for him. Okay, it's not going to seem right. So, in a lot of stuff that I've done, that's how I always kind of, that's how you get around, the acting issue, which could be issue, but you make it a non-issue by making sure you cast correctly, and then also when you are giving out the lines, okay, you want to make sure that, like, for me personally, I have scripts and stuff like that I use, but I always let people be loose with the words and make sure they just basically hit the points, okay? A lot of newer directors don't do that. If you turn on Tubi, a lot of movies are black movies are just straight up trash. I just got to say that. I'm not sure everyone's going to say that. A lot of these movies are straight up trash. Okay, should not be on Tubi, but they're on Tubi. And a lot of the people that are directing don't have no clue what they're doing. I just got to say that. Okay, I just got to say that. And the people's acting is just awful. There's all kind of editing problems in a lot of these movies. Because one of the reasons why is because the actors are memorizing the script, okay, and they're not really able to have freedom, okay. And on top of that, the director may not know, because they're newer, how to even direct them. Okay, like me, I study people's personalities. I look at them. I see how they are. I'm just saying to say that the reason why I'm bringing this point up is the fact that I'm looking at Dr. Umar. He's playing like the woman who directed this movie. I believe it's the same woman who had the channel. She did something right in that she cast Umar to play essentially himself in the movie. So that should have made things easier, okay, for Dr. Umar to act. You would think that would make it easier for him to act, because he's playing someone. Like I just said, you cast somebody that's similar. You cast them to playing a character that's similar to who they are, okay, if they're not an actor, or doing something that they can relate to, okay. If a person wants to act, already right there, say I'm ready to be malleable. I'm ready to be bent because I want to act. If they understand what acting is, I want to act. I'm a willing vessel, okay, to acting. So you got something with that there, but then you got to kind of mold it as a director. All right. She took Umar and said, look, you're going to play a person that's basically yourself. All right. Just do what you do. And you see that in these situations, Dr. Umar cannot do that. All right. Like, for example, if you watch the movie, Dr. Umar is with different young men. Okay. He's talking to them, and it just comes off very fake. It never seems real. It always seems fake. And I was watching the movie, and I'm just watching just like anybody else. I'm not trying to judge Umar. I'm not trying to be judgmental to the movie. I'm just watching it just like a blank slate in my mind, just watching it. And I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, Dr. Umar, if you were really a certified school psychologist as a time of experience, why is that when you talk to this young man, all you can say is, it's like basically throughout the movie, he's just giving exposition, okay? And then he's just saying, he's like, listen, young man, he literally saying stuff like this, like look, you've been given these drugs, and these drugs are not right for you. All right, you need to do this instead. I believe you need to do this instead. Okay, and the boy's like, yes. And he's like, okay. He's like, yes. And he's like, okay. And the boy's like, yes. And they go back and forth saying yes and yes over and over again. And then he just gets up and walks away. And I'm like, right then and there, Umar could have been like, well, you know what I mean? Talk to the director, right? Like, look, I've dealt with many young men. Um, maybe we could put this in. Maybe we could put that in there. Okay. I bet you all money in the world, Dr. Umar didn't say none of that. Okay. He probably just like, look, let's just do it because he, in my opinion, I highly doubt he has any real experience with all these young black men talking to one on one like he keeps on saying that he has. You may say, well, you saying it because you're hating. No, I'm not saying it because I'm hating. It's because when you look at Dr. Umar, what comes out of his mouth, you can tell that's the case. Think about it. He's always talking about, what's going on to our black boys. He's telling you stuff that really anybody can know. Seriously. He's telling you that, they're misdiagnosing black people. Of course they are. Okay. And it's not just black folks, but what he's saying is true. All right. Of course, he says things to people that they're just obviously true. All right. And things need to be changed. And, and America has wants to, you're basically over medicate people. That's true. Of course it's true, Dr. Umar. We know this. Not everybody knows this. I'll say that. Not everybody knows it. Okay. But yeah, that's true. But it's obvious truth. All right. So and I watched him in the movie and I'm like, what value does he really bring to it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would someone need to call him to their house when he's coming over and he has very little to say to these young men at all? And then when he's being brought over, Dr. Umar it's something is he's sleeping with the mothers. Okay. I'm just like one instance, okay, I believe he's at a house, right? And there's a woman outside. Now, she was not the mother of the child, I believe. She was just somebody outside. And she started talking to Dr. Umar. And it was almost fun. I mean, this movie it's actually funny. Like, at least 5 times I was laughing. And it wasn't supposed to be funny. But it's just stuff that happens in a certain way that when you think about it, you'll be like, really? Not like it's bad writing. It's just that it's so against Umar that it's almost hilarious. Like, it's times where women will be coming on him, and like this woman who's kissing him, okay? And Umar, he's kissing him, right? And she says something to him like, hey, baby, whatever she says when they're like sitting down, right? And Umar is like, I cannot be with you right now. I have to go home and sleep or something like that. He said, I'm like, really, Dr. So then it's like he gets up to walk away. And she grabs him, which I think is the most hilarious part of the movie, that she grabs him and pulls him to herself to kiss him. And Dr. Umar is with another woman. She kissed him like 5-6 seconds, excuse me. And Umar is not trying to stop her. He's like sitting there. He's like, oh, you know what? You need to stop. I'm like, you took all that time to kiss her. You took all that time, and he told us, so you need to stop. I was just watching this like, is this really happening? I was just like, this must be a comedy. Like, this cannot. While his poor wife to be is just home, longingly waiting. She at home longingly waiting for Umar to return to give him that good Umar love. She is waiting. I mean, this is what's in the movie. I'm not making this up. This is in the movie, y'all. It's in the movie. I mean, it's so weird the way this stuff happens in the movie. It's almost like it should be studied. Like, for example, and I heard that Umar was actually mad about the movie, and I can see why. But like, for example, it's a part in the movie where his soon-to-be, I guess, wife says, look, I'm not even engaged. You're not taking me that serious. And another woman is like, you girl, you can't let that happen, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so basically he used her. I'm like, the real Umar does the same thing. I'm like, this is surprising that it's in here. Like, I'm surprised he would agree to do this. Then back to the scenes of, I think this is a mother right here, if I'm not mistaken, okay, who asked Umar to come. And then, of course, Umar comes in the house and they start sleeping together, okay? And I'm just like, why would Umar agree why would he agree to do this movie? It's just hard for me to understand. Now, most people would say, well, he agreed because he didn't understand all of what the movie entailed. He didn't know this stuff would be in here. But the thing is, he had to know because he was acting in those scenes. See what I'm saying? It's like he like this is what I mean when I say it reminds me of Steven Seagal. Like Steven Seagal in his mind, in all of his movies, in my opinion, it's almost like he's like 007. He's like James Bond. You know how a lot of the James Bond movies, he's always like just the chick magnet, like women that just, it doesn't matter what the woman looks like in the movie. It doesn't matter how much she says, James, you're a wild man, and I'm never going to be with you. Wait a few minutes and they'll be in the bed together. That's how all Bond movies are. Okay, there's always something that makes a woman turn and go with him. Okay, and it's like Umar. It's like the same thing in this movie. It's almost like he sees this as some achievement. I actually wonder if the woman wrote this movie like this as a bait, to see if Dr. Umar, like she wrote a Dr. Umar fantasy, something that he would fantasize about, and then basically presented it to him and said, "What do you think about this fantasy?" And Dr. Umar said, "This is great, it's wonderful." But it actually proves just how bad he really is. But he didn't realize that. Maybe he didn't realize it until he actually saw it on film. Okay, but whatever the case may be, whether she did this with intent to expose him or not, whatever the case may be, he chose to be in this film. All right. Now, if I had to rate the film based on, as a film, I'll probably give it a 4.5 out of 10 because Umar being the main star is not, his acting is terrible. All right, which really is surprising. Well, I'm not gonna say it's surprising, but you would think it would be surprising because you would think he'll be able to pull this off because this is what he does. But because Umar in real life is fake, which is what we always keep saying, I've been saying it for a long time. Umar is nothing more than a person. Like one person in the comments, one of my videos made a great point. They said he cosplays. Okay, a school psychologist. He cosplays, all right, or he dresses up essentially as the character that he portrays, but that's not really him. It's just a costume. Like I said in my last video, it's like someone going to a Halloween party and dressing up as Martin Luther King. Okay, that's basically what he does 24/7. All right, people here in Philly, we can look at Dr. Umar and we can clearly see because Dr. Umar talks the same language that we talk. All right, so it's very hard for him to deceive us. Well, people that are not from Philadelphia or even right outside of Philadelphia, even probably Jersey, they could probably tell too. They don't understand, the what's the word I can say? They don't understand basically what he's come with. Okay, the attitude that he's come with. They don't understand, there you go, the game that he's running. Okay, but we seen the game before because there's a lot of people like Umar in these areas. Okay. But people that are other places that are less more kind, more like down south places like that where people are more kind, they wouldn't expect the person to be as nefarious and as wicked and as two-faced as Umar is. That a man will go around and bring a real problem that the black community has and use that only to scam, to get money, to get people's hopes up, knowing good and well that just like with the school scam and everything else he does, that he has no answer. He has no plan to have any answer. He makes money. He's going to make money from going around and bringing up problems that we have. And I'm going to say this also. I got to say this, okay? The truth is this. Dr. Umar is not the first and he won't be the last. All right? This is the truth. There have been people before Dr. Umar. We act like Dr. Umar is the first scam writers. That's not true. There have been many people using the black struggle, in the past, just like Dr. Umar. There have been many people who've used the black struggle, okay, in the bad situations that black people have been in since Reconstruction and since slavery, okay. They've used that to their advantage to get money from the black community, to lie, whether they were in politics or whatever the case may be. He's not the first. Dr. Umar is not the first person to do this. Okay, just another grifter, like people like to say a lot. He's just another scam artist, okay, that has used the internet like no one else has to scam, doing this, so he gets more light shined on him, okay. And he uses the internet very well. I gotta say that, okay. Though he scams, he knows how to use the internet. He knows how to get attention, okay, and that is his skill. But he's not the first. That's why I don't think Dr. Umar really feels any guilt with what he does, because he's probably looking at it like, hey, I'm not the first person to do this. A lot of people have done this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the movie, like I said, because Umar is so poor in the movie, it drags the movie down. Okay. Also, when the movie starts off, it's very, very slow. It wasn't for the fact I knew about Umar, I always just turned it off because, and the woman does a good job of it. It's just that when it starts off, one of the rules with filmmaking is that you want to kind of grab people in the beginning. The movie starts off, it usually is the first 10 minutes. A lot of screenplay books will tell you, and screenplay, masters will tell you, look, you want to grab people, and it's really true, you want to grab people in the beginning of the movie, okay? Set up some kind of mystery, or set up, what has to be accomplished in the film, in the earlier parts of the film. In the first, 10 minutes of the film, it's basically Umar having a speech, and I basically had to fast forward through it because I'm like, I don't really want to see him have a speech, because I'll say this, I'll play this, okay? You can make Dr. Umar, who we know is a certified school scammer, be entertaining even with his speech. But the problem is that because the movie is like, in a way, I'm not saying it's pro Umar, but because he's in the movie, and the movie has to be in a way favoring him because he's actually acting in the movie himself. Um, it can't like the it's almost like a documentary style in a way when it comes to him talking and speaking. Okay, at least in the beginning of the movie. So, and because of that, because we know that he's a scammer, it simply can't keep my attention. Okay, see what I'm saying? Uh, I would have rather even seen someone act as. I actually thought that someone was gonna be acting as. But I didn't know that he would be playing himself. Okay, so that was something that when I turned the movie on, I was looking at the time and I said we passed 11 minutes, 10 minutes, and he's just having a speech, and not much has been accomplished in this time. You understand? So I thought that was something that they needed to clean up. But the movie had parts in it that were definitely good. There was some good editing in the film. The music at times was very, very good. Had some sound issues at times. Sometimes the sound would cut in and out with the mic that I noticed, but it was still good for someone that I don't think this woman has done a lot of films like that. Whatever case it be, it was definitely watchable and it was definitely funny, but I don't know if it was intentionally funny. All right, but I'm glad that the woman released it. That's for sure. Okay, he could have also used some color correction. This is just like a little technical stuff. I don't know if y'all want to hear this, but it didn't have it. I didn't see any color correction in the movie at all. Okay, it seemed like it was like straight at the camera. Maybe some contrast and darkness and brightness maybe adjusted, but it didn't seem like there was a lot of color correction going on. I could see. That's not on the director. That's more on the editing side of things. That they could have spruced it up a little bit, made it look more visually appealing. And then some of them, just how it was shot. It was kind of shot where everything was in focus the whole time, more like a TV show. I wish that it was kind of had. I wish they had more. They used different lenses so things could be more in focus, not out of focus, in focus, out of focus. Okay, that was just my main gripe with the visuals of things. Okay, but outside of that, the shot selection, things like that, they were fine. It wasn't, I mean, things could have been a little closer at times. Things could have been a little more dynamic, but overall, it was fine for what it was trying to accomplish. It was to tell us the story of Umar and what he was doing, and it definitely accomplished that. I think that if someone were to watch this film and they did not know anything about Umar, I don't think they walk out of this film thinking he was somebody that really cared for people. Okay, I'm gonna say that right now. The movie ends with Dr. Umar. If you guys have seen it, it ends with him looking at a school, which I think is also ironic that at the end of the movie he's looking at a school, but but the school is never developed. You know what I mean? Just like in real life, he went to a school, he got a school, but at the end of the day, nothing really came of it. All right. As I'm making this video right now, the school is in danger of being sold in a sheriff's cell. I don't believe that Umar is concerned about this school. Okay? I think Umar would rather have those schools be taken so he can use it as an excuse about how these stupid black Negroes that came straight out of the Book of Negroes, which is a book that Dr. Umar seemingly is creating for us. Okay, and for all of us YouTubian struggle streamers, as he calls us. Okay, seems like he just wants to blame us and say, look, y'all have all this stuff and all this mouth, but y'all didn't want to donate. Because y'all did not donate, we didn't have the funds that we needed. Wait a minute, Dr. Umar, you collected over $1 million for the funding of the school. If we believe the story that you said, which I personally don't even believe, that you paid over $400 million for this, $400,000, dollars for this school, then you should have over 600 grand left in the funds for the school. All right, because you did not do repairs to those two buildings that were worth $600,000. If that was the case, you can be sure that Dr. Umar would have been talking about that all day long and explaining that, and he hasn't. He's not the kind of person to be quiet about what he does. Okay, he's always on social media promoting stuff. I'm not trying to hate on him because of that. I'm just saying nowadays you kind of got to do that to a degree. But what I'm saying is that knowing he's that type of person, we can understand and ascertain that something's wrong with the money. All right. And he's talking about people need to send in money, people need to march at Wilmington. Why? You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. Also, the film has Nick Cannon in it. I believe this is actually clips from a podcast that Dr. Umar actually did, because I did see this on YouTube. And I just thought to myself, truth be told, I'm going to tell you exactly what I was thinking when I saw this scene. I thought to myself, it's either Nick Cannon is very, very foolish and very, very naive, or him and others are in on what Dr. Umar is doing, and they're in some type of a secret club that we don't know nothing about. Okay, to a degree, and they're just accomplishing their plan. It's as simple as that. It's one of the two. All right, because as Umar came on here, Nick Cannon is naming different things that Dr. Umar has done, different titles that he has, I should say. And I'm like, none of those things really prove that he's in action, that he's done this or done that. Even if you said he bought a school, he bought a former school. He did not make a school. You understand what I'm saying? He bought a former school. You know, so it's just crazy. I'm glad that this film Awaken came out. Please share this video if y'all can, y'all. Watch that video, Awaken, once again. Support this woman and her works, because I'm glad that she made it in the day. Like I said, the movie is plagued with Umar. I mean, really is. It's plagued with Umar. You know, as a director myself, I always say, you know, films live and die based on performances. Okay, the music has a lot to do with the tone, and then the performances. All right, and I'm a real stickler for performances myself as a director. All right, it's my job to get the right people. It's my job to guide the actor into the correct space, into the right tone, to match the tone of the film overall, and to have the actor to bring the lines forth a certain way. All right, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the best director, Steven Spielberg, none of them could have brought out performers better than what Dr. Umar was bringing out here. Okay, and better than what this woman was trying to bring out Dr. Umar. Okay, because Dr. Umar, his personality is fake. All right, so when he came here to act, I'm sure the woman was probably trying her very best. Dr. Umar is just a fake person when it comes to the cameras and when it comes to other people. At least when it comes to things that can relate to him getting donations through and through. There's a fakeness that comes up with him. All right, and it's unbelievably apparent in this movie. People are gonna watch this and say, "Oh, he just can't act." No, it's not that he can't act. This is who he is. I don't believe he's even acting in the movie. He's just playing himself. He really is. I'm not even trying to be funny when I say that. Okay, I'm not even trying to be funny. In looking at that, you should say to yourself, okay, is this who he is? Yes. The answer is yes. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, please. Hope the video will be seen. Check the woman's video out once again. Until next time, God bless. Peace.